is part 2 of how to have self-control with food. So the first video I shared, one of the big pillars is what you're actually eating. There's so many foods that are hyper palatable, that are highly processed, and are very addictive. So it's so much harder to feel like you have self-control with foods that are so bingeable, so addictive, especially if you're susceptible because of stress, because that's a conditioning you may have had of just impulsively reaching for junk food. And so to dial that in first is just adding in more and more real food, whole foods that will satiate you and not cause major cravings. That's number 1. Part 2 is the emotional regulation piece. So much of having self-control with food is being able to regulate your nervous system and regulate your emotions. And so much of reaching for food, I know for myself, I used to binge eat as a sugar addict. It was to not feel an uncomfortable emotion. Food is one of the best ways to cope. A lot of us find comfort in food. A lot of us find a sense of security, relaxation, relief when we eat, and especially those hyper-palatable processed foods. And so to start seeing your relationship with food, why are you reaching for food? That was one of the most profound questions I started asking myself. Every time I was reaching for something, why am I reaching for this right now? Am I actually hungry? And so often it was not true hunger that I was reaching for food. It was like a stressful email from my boss. Let me eat. Feeling lonely, feeling tired, feeling thirsty, feeling cold, feeling sad, like every emotion. It was just like, I don't want to feel this uncomfortable emotion. Let me eat. Because that is what I learned at a very young age. And a lot of these patterns of coping are passed down generationally. Like so many of the women in my family, pretty much all of them, have the same struggle or had the same struggle of binge eating or using food to cope. And so to not use that as an excuse, but to empower yourself with, okay, I'm going to learn different tools and learn how to regulate my nervous system. And one of these is just learning that pause, to practice the pause, which is, like I said, you reach for something, you have an impulse for something, can you sit with it and actually check in with yourself? What do I need right now? Oh, I need to rest. And y'all, so much of eating, just eating when we have a break, is because we've been conditioned that way. In school, think of elementary school, go, and then the only time you get a break is for lunch and then recess maybe. But even I remember in college, it was the only time I would let myself have a break, it was just to go eat. And same with cigarette breaks. And then when we're craving relief, when we're craving just a breath, we've associated that with eating. And so it's just every time we want a break, our minds are where's food? And so recognizing that for yourself and giving yourself breaks that don't involve food to create new patterning of what else gives you that sense of relief, sense of breathing, literally going to sit and just breathe, get outside in nature, and find new practices that you can use. And another thing is meditation. Meditation is going to the gym for impulse control, for being able to be with uncomfortable emotions. So as you sit in meditation, it's commonly deemed that meditation means stilling your mind. And so a lot of times it's I hear for all the time, I'm bad at meditation, I'm not good at that, I just can't sit still. That's not what it's about. All the more reason to sit in meditation. Your mind may be everywhere during meditation. My mind is, a lot of the times, it's all over the place. It's just being able to witness that, sit in that, and breathe through it. Ooh, what is here for me now? What's coming up? Oh, this urge to go grab my phone. Big breath. Oh, this anger, this sadness, actually letting yourself feel that and breathing. Your breath is going to be your biggest companion through sugar addiction and binge eating, through self-control, because you get to notice the moments that you don't want to do the thing that you need to do, and you can take a breath and still do it, or to ride through a craving, to come back, to create that space, to connect back to your intention. And what meditation also does is it's really building the muscle of being able to ride through an impulse without reacting to it. And in that moment, there's so many tools future projecting with food that are so helpful, of having the space. What future projection is when you sit with, you see a craving come on, that you can be what am I going to feel in 30 minutes if I follow through that impulse to go binge? Oh, I'm going to feel bloated and guilty all day long for the next 3 hours. Is this 1 minute of pleasure worth feeling awful for 8 hours and guilty and shameful? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put myself in that spiral. But that's a muscle to build, because sometimes in the moments when we are super stressed, or we are like getting home from work and all we want to do is sit on the couch and just eat a bunch of potato chips, like those are the magic moments where you get to use your breath, use the practice, the muscle that you've been building in meditation to ride that wave. Cravings typically last like 2 to 5 minutes, and they may come back, but they're just little visitors, and they'll pass. And you can notice in your body what's going on in my body. So much time when a craving hits, it's like excitement and maybe like constriction in your body like this. I ask myself, where can I soften? Just soften into this. Versus trying to willpower and fight it. Like, just let the craving wash over you. Just feel it. Can you feel the craving? Can you be with it? And it's going to pass. And then connect to, in those moments, how it's going to feel to not indulge in it. How proud you'll be. How much better you'll feel. Think like cheerlead yourself. Like, this is a huge win. Oh, here's the craving. Like a game. Like, here's the craving. I'm not going to indulge. And that's a flex of the muscle. And that gets stronger and stronger too. You build that self-control muscle. But it's learning how to regulate your nervous system. And this isn't just with cravings and food. Like with meditation, with regulating your nervous system, it's being with the feelings that come. And it's going to affect every area of your life. When you're hit with deep anxiety, like, can you just, instead of trying to push it away, can you welcome it in? Oh, anxiety. That you're not your anxiety. It's an energy pattern that's coming to visit. Can I breathe through this? Connect to the place within you that's secure and safe and knows that you're going to be okay. And just let that ride out. And there's other practices to help with anxiety. It's particularly getting in nature, for sure. Your breath, doing breath work, things like the type of breathing I teach is somatic release breath work. And it's really helps release a lot of energy, stored energy in the body. And a lot of times that's what anxiety is just the energy that needs to be released. But you can also do parasympathetic breathing, like 5 box breathing with 5 count breaths. So we can do that right now. You take a big breath in for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5, hold for 5, inhale for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5, hold for 5. You just keep doing that. You let your nervous system calm down. So if you notice, this is where it's such a powerful practice for self-control, is noticing when you feel a little out of control, or you feel like a huge impulse for something that's may take you down a path that you don't want to go. Your breath. If you take anything from this video, your breath is your superpower. When you can calm your breath and regulate your nervous system, when you breathe calmly, your brain's like, oh, I'm breathing like a calm person. I must be calm. But when you're like, your brain's freaking out because it's connecting that breathing signal, like, oh, we must be in danger. We must be panicking. Let me freak out. And started creating thoughts that are going to perpetuate this freak out so I can protect myself from this danger. You can just slow your breath down and start practicing that throughout your day. Oh my gosh, this is a superpower in anything for you to notice when you want to yell at one of your kids and you can just find your breath. I had a client who, one of her biggest wins was she did a 5-5-7 breath. This is a 5-second inhale, 5-second hold, 7-second exhale. When she was about to freak out at her daughter, and she didn't, and then it didn't cascade into like the perpetual events of just them fighting all night and all that. And she just could come back to compassion, come back to love, come back to ease, and notice that, come back to the security within you. So hope this is helpful. Self-control, regulate your emotions, things like meditation, your breath work, getting in nature. If you're feeling and then the question of getting really curious with yourself versus beating yourself up if you're craving something. Just ask, why am I reaching for this? I mean, seriously, y'all, that changed my whole life, that question. Why am I reaching for this? Am I actually hungry? And if you're not hungry, you're not sure, check in with yourself. What am I feeling? And that may be something you've never done before, checked in with yourself and asked, how am I feeling? So it may be like, you don't even know how you feel. And that's okay. This is how you start learning and connecting to yourself. And you will start learning how you feel. Oh, I'm anxious about something coming up. Can I just sit with myself? What do I actually need in this moment? Oh, I'm feeling lonely. what do I actually need? I need connection. Can I call a friend? Can I connect with myself? Can I connect to a higher power and pray? Sending you so much love today, and just a reminder that you're not alone in this. If you're struggling with food, that it is so common, and you're doing a great job. Just take it one day at a time. Find your breath. It's always here for you, your biggest companion. And remind yourself that every moment is a chance for you to show up for yourself. And the moments that you've slipped, and you may have a binge, or you may eat something that you know wasn't the best thing for you, the quicker you can find compassion and forgive yourself, the quicker that transformation is going to happen. The quicker you can get up and start, this moment's new. Cool, this moment's new. And that's what we can do with our breath as well, is just come back to compassion. It's okay. You're doing great. All right. I love you guys. Bye.